Yo, 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 yo. Hey, guys, welcome back to the Best Practices Show podcast. My name is Kirk Behrendt. Again, and again, I'm going to keep bringing you the best thinkers in dentistry so that when you listen, my hope is you use some of this stuff and you create a better practice and a better life. And today we are going to do just that. I'm going to bring a good friend of mine, Dr. Tito Norris, in. And this episode, if you listen to it carefully, you're going to see the secrets, the foundation to create a better practice and a better life. This is one of the most important things you'll ever learn in dentistry. So I hope you enjoy the episode. Check it out, and we'll see you soon. Hey guys, welcome back to the Best Practices Show podcast. I am so excited you're here and listening today. And if you've been listening for a while, you already know this is our game. Our game is to help you create a better practice and a better life. So if you're a dentist, dental professional, and you're thinking, man, I got into this whole thing of dentistry and I love it, but it's just not working the way I want it to right now, don't worry, you're not alone. And we're going to call in the big time experts. And today I have got my good friend, Dr. Tito Norris, on today, and he's going to help us understand how you can build a great foundation for a fantastic practice and a wonderful life. Tito, thanks for being on, brother.
It's my pleasure, Kirk. Good to see you again, buddy.
Yeah, good to see you too. Now, I'm going to share with you guys this. If you're listening or watching, Tito's one of those guys that I'm going to make it a lifetime study to figure out how the heck he does things, because I've met up with him and had dinner in Mexico. I watch what he does. He has an amazing family, an amazing practice. You never look stressed. Like, I want to see you freak out one time, and I don't think that's ever going to happen. You're coming off of a 4-week vacation, which I've never taken a 4-week. I've taken a 2-week vacation, but a 4-week vacation overseas, like, you got to let us in on how all this works. Now, that's not really the essence of what we're talking about today, but maybe you can spread some, light on what it is that we're going to be talking about and why it's so important. So,
sure.
But wait, let's do this. I almost left out the most. I got a lot of young dental students listening. I want them to know who you are before we get into what it is that we're talking. So give us a little bio. Who's Tito Norris?
Well, so I'm a native Texan. I grew up in South Texas and went to college at UT Austin, dental school in San Antonio right here. Finished up I did a general practice residency at the VA hospital in Washington, D.C., followed by an orthodontics residency also in D.C. at Howard University. From there, my wife actually got sent to Japan. She had been through medical school and an Air Force scholarship. So when she finished her residency, they sent her to Japan. So I had my choice. I could either go as her dependent and flip burgers for 3 years, or I could join the Air Force and do orthodontics, which is what I love. And so that's what I decided to do. So I spent 3 wonderful years in Japan, came back to San Antonio in 1998 and started a practice from scratch. So I've been there. I was actually, as I was starting my practice, I was an associate at another office, for a short period of time. So I've kind of done a little bit of everything. I've done that. So I've taught for a little bit. So I've done some academics. I've done some private practice. I've done an associateship. I've done it all. I've built a practice from scratch, and it's, I have to say it's been stressful and it takes a lot of work, but it's also very rewarding, and it's been a lot of fun. So we opened in 1998. So what's that? 24 years in private practice now as an orthodontic specialist, and So my whole thing is really, life balance. Kirk, and you and I have kind of talked about this. We've had some other conversations about that because it's really easy to get sort of like sucked into this growth mentality, and I've got to be bigger. I've got to be a better provider. There's this competition with your
Right.
colleagues and your classmates and your competitors and all this kind of stuff, and all that stuff is good. It's healthy because that's what drives us, right? And especially people who are in the dental profession very often are tend to be very driven. They're very very type A.
Yeah.
But you got to balance that with sharpening the saw, and with coming home at the end of the day, and being able to give your family the best of you rather than just the rest of you.
Mm.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's something that I didn't get early on in my career, and I just didn't get that concept. I was such a hard charger, and I was so hell bent on just raising the bar, and just getting better, and taking all the CE, and marketing and managing, and growing from one employee, all the way up to now we got like 25, right?
Wow.
So. Um, so it's been a long road, and I've hit a few bumps along the way, and I've definitely learned some things along the way. And one of the things that if I could share with young listeners would be to it's really difficult to take care of everything else if you don't first take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's of all the things I've done, right or wrong, good or bad. That's one thing I've actually done a pretty good job of over the years. Is that I eat well, I sleep well, and I found some exercise that really speaks to me. I swam 3,500 meters this morning, as
Wow.
part of my workout with my team. And on days that I don't swim, I go to the gym, and then on weekends, I'm riding my bike, and so I stay active, and that's how I can do that at 55, and keep going at this pace.
Yeah.
So that
You're
that would be
55. I thought you were
yeah.
so much younger than that. Oh my gosh. You look great, man.
Thanks. So that'd be one key piece of advice is really take care of yourself, right?
Yeah.
And eat good wholesome food, give your body plenty of rest, schedule time off. And that's one thing, and you and I discussed this. For the majority of my career, I've basically worked, 3 weeks on and 1 week off.
Mhm.
And whether that week was spent going to a CE program, or taking a vacation with our family, or just having some downtime to sharpen the saw, and do some reading, or just chill out, or blah blah blah, whatever it
Right.
takes, um, because it's really difficult to go at this pace and at this stress level if you don't occasionally just let out some steam. And I think that needs to be done on a regular basis, whether that's quarterly for you, whether that's every other month, or whether that's every 6 weeks, or whether that's once a month. To find something that works for you, and that's a completely different mindset, because some people, a lot of my friends, they ask me, Tito, how do you do it? How do you take off that much time? And the answer is simple. I schedule it.
Yeah.
Okay. I open up my 2022, 2023 calendar. It's already done. Okay. So all the meetings I want to go to, all the vacations I want to go on, it's already done. It's in the books. It's in the calendar. And and guess what? The time that's left over, that's when I see patients. Okay,
Wow.
and the patients don't know. They don't,
Yeah.
because they're coming in by appointments. And of course, now I'm in a little bit of a different situation, because I've got a partner, and I've got another associate coming on board. So things are a little different, at this stage of my career. But I don't want to be a dead horse. But those are those two key things. Number one, take care of yourself, and really part of that, like I said, is just the physical itself. But then the other part is really just kind of like taking that time off for your mental self
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah.
and finding whatever it is that helps that mental balance. And for me, for some people it's yoga, for some people it's meditation. For me, it's swimming. Okay, so while I'm swimming, I'm basically meditating. I mean,
Yeah.
and so that really helps me stay sane, and balanced, and energized, and ready to shoot the day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
go
And
for it,
so
man.
let's go through there. Because again, like I'm going to make you one of the people I study. I'm already in the, so you guys just to give you a little background. Tito and a couple of, they're like, come meet us for dinner in Mexico. Well, it was in the side of a mountain on the ocean. It wasn't just in a restaurant. It was spectacular. One of the greatest nights of my life. And as I sit and just listen to you guys, I mean, you guys are never talking dentistry. You're laughing, you're having a great time, and you guys have all experienced that. And in order to take care of yourself, be able to take the time off, you know, part of it is getting a practice that works. And so you said to me before we hit the go button, is it too much to talk about core values? I'm like, dude, game on. That is like, that's my favorite thing. And so you said, what about the foundation? So can you describe that? Describe that whole concept of what you built.
Absolutely. Well, so first of all, let me just say, Kirk, that for years I got by without even. I mean, I hadn't even heard of core value. What is that? You know, and I just thought
Right.
it was some kind of like muckety muck talk from the corporate gurus and all this stuff. And it wasn't until we actually we got to a certain size where I just felt like the HR was just kind of beyond what I could manage by myself, and so I wanted to get some help. So I hired someone to come in and help our team develop core values. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and so as a team, we all got in a room and basically we just had a huge whiteboard and essentially we went around the room and our consultant directed us and basically said, okay, so what are the top characteristics of your top performers, your favorite people that you've ever worked with? What are those? What made them amazing? Okay, and sometimes it's like punctuality, right? And sometimes it's like, man, they were an amazing teammate. They really stepped in when I was down. And sometimes like they were always willing to learn. Sometimes it was like they were very very efficient with their time. Sometimes it was like they had incredible attention to detail, right?
Right.
And sometimes it's like, oh man, they were so innovative. They always came up with great ideas. And so we documented all these things, and basically we just kind of whittled and basically boiled it down to these seven things that are now the foundation of our practice. And I say foundation because now it's just like, how on earth do we even ever operate without them? Because
Right.
now we hire using our core values, right? So
Yes.
we interview our new candidates, and we see, okay, does this person fit our core values? And we fire by core values, and we discipline by core values, and we reward by core values, and it's a complete foundation of the people portion of our practice, right? Which is our practice, right? Your
Right.
practice is your people, okay?
Right.
I mean, that's all it is. It's your team. That's
Right.
what your practice is.
Now speak to the before and after photos that we're looking at with pre no core values,
Yeah.
post core values. Like what's the difference? What did you learn pre and post?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I used to have a lot more just HR stuff,
Mm-hmm.
okay, to deal with. Well, she said this, and just all that bickering stuff, okay.
Right.
And there's just when I got team buy-in, when the team itself actually were the ones to help develop those core values, and the team put them down on paper, and then they all signed. Like, okay, we've got back in the break room, we've got a big poster with our core values, and there's each one of their signatures is on that poster. Okay,
Love it.
so in order to work here, you have to live by those core values. Okay, and every week we actually have a little drawing, right, for a little bit of money, right, and it basically you nominate each other for basically teammate of the week, and guess what, that's based on core values,
Yeah.
right? What did this person do that was so great, and how did that fit in, and which element of those core values did it really resonate with? Okay.
Yeah. So can I ask you about that? Do you have like a little
Sure.
form that they fill and they put into a box? Like how do you do that?
Yeah.
And with
So
that many?
yeah, basically we've got a Google Doc that's open for
Okay.
everybody, and basically when somebody does something really cool, you just go in, you type in their name, what they did, which core value it's associated with.
Love it.
Okay, so throughout the week, and they can pull it up on any computer. It's a live document, and then that way it eliminates sticky notes and pieces of paper and so forth. Everybody's got access to it, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
that's great.
can I
So,
ask you a few more questions too? Because this is
sure.
my favorite thing. So if you've ever listened to the podcast, you know. Now, I'm going to say this because Tito and I were talking like, I'm 52, so I'm a little bit behind you, but like I wasted the first half of my career without these in place. And I would have told you, I don't need to do, let's get to the important stuff, which is the business and the systems and the marketing and all this. And little did I know that that was the most important thing. What I found personally is the more you lean into what you're talking about, what Tito is mentioning, and I'm telling you guys, if you're listening, the less crazy stuff you deal with. You deal with better stuff, better conversations, magical things happen. People come to you and go, I want to be a part of this. And you're like, where did you come from? It's wild when that starts to happen. And one of my questions is this. A lot of people go down this path, but the word like, you got to really nail the words, because the word integrity doesn't really describe a behavior. It describes I'm just asking here, like, how did you come up with your 7? Like what made you decide these are our 7?
Well, like I said, it was a team effort. Literally, it was a team effort, and we've had all these qualities, up on the board, and we simply, digested them into, okay, well, is this one similar to this? Yeah, it is. But what's a better word, for this, or what's a better phrase, for this? And it was really just the powers of deduction, if you will. I mean, like I said, we probably had 100 descriptors on the board when we were
Right.
finished, kind of describing our favorite people that we'd ever worked with, right? And essentially from those 100 qualities, we were able to say, like, basically just keep boiling it down, keep condensing it, and then get down to really the sauce, right? Like the reduction sauce, if you will, that goes on top of the filet mignon, or what,
Mhm.
it's just, and that's what it is. And in fact, we were able to, kind of play a little word game with it, and so that now we have a mnemonic to help remember our 7 core values. And guess what? We were able to get that mnemonic reads, I'm to lead.
Say that
Okay.
again. So wait, describe
Yeah.
that,
So basically, let me give you our 7 core values. Right.
please.
Innovative. That's the I.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mindset. Having a positive mindset. Uh, Team before self.
Yep.
Having an ownership mentality in everything that you do. Being a lifelong learner.
Mm-hmm.
Being efficient with your time, with your energy, with your resources, um, attention to detail, and I would have said Disney type service, but we upped it just a
What?
bit. It's making Disney jealous.
Oh, I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
it was actually 8 rather than 7. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I really love that when you give your own name to something. We have a dentist. Her name's Susan Thompson, and she has one called Ride or Die. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you gotta think like ride or die. We're not gonna die, but like we ride and we ride
Yeah.
together, type of a thing. So I love it when you create your own thing. Now, how do you use them when you say you hire and you fire? Tell me a little bit more about that, because I always love to hear these stories.
Great question. So yesterday we had someone coming in for an interview, and she was, coming in for an administrative position. And following the interview, we basically, gave her an office tour, and we went back to the break room, and we said, look, this poster is our core values, and these are our core values, and this is what we live by every day. And we start the day with this, we end the day with this. Everything that you do throughout the day is going to be based on these 8 principles. And read them, look at them, and see if this is the kind of place that you want to work.
Yeah.
Because everybody whose signature is on this piece of paper, I mean, they have made a commitment to subscribe to these core values.
Mm-hmm.
And if they fail to subscribe to the core values, well, then, there's going to need to be some action there, right?
Right.
And we'll bring that to their attention, and obviously give them some cues for correction. And if they can correct that, well, then, fantastic. We'd love to have them back in the fold. But if they can't live by those core values, for instance, if a team before self, if you can't live by that, right? And if you are going to be out late partying, and you just can't get to work on time. Now, listen, if you've got a child that's, school doesn't open until 7:30, and you were supposed to be here at 7 o'clock, okay, that's a little different situation,
Right.
right? And we're going to have to make some accommodations for that. But if you're just notoriously late, just because you don't like to wake up early, well, then you're not subscribing to our core values. And we need to talk about that. And you either need to be here on time, or we need to help you find a place that, has later hours.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question.
It's not this office.
Okay, we're going to go back to that. So when you hire, are you looking for competency, or are you looking for like the core values thing? Are you, and I actually have a story about you that you don't know. So, and I'm going to tell it because you'll love it. So there's a woman and she's in your study club. And I was having a conversation with her and she's like, you know what? And she's like, do you know Tito Norris? I'm like, I do. And she's like, I got to figure him out. Like, he has this amazing person. And I asked him, where'd you get her? And he goes, a museum or something like that. Or she said, you always have a knack of finding these really crazy, cool people and you don't find them in dentistry. True or false?
I find them wherever I find them, Kirk, and that's the thing. When I see somebody that just with the sparkle in their eye, and you feel that energy, and that just desire to just to be, to serve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean that's what we do is we serve our patients, we serve each other. I mean that's the ultimate in servant leadership. And when you see that, and it could be that, I mean, I think I know which employee you're talking about. I found her actually at a jewelry store.
Oh,
Okay.
jewelry store. That's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, literally, she just blew me away with her customer service.
Yeah.
And I mean, I went back, I sat in my car, and I went back into the store, and I just said, hey, listen, if you're ever looking for a job, I want you to give me a call. And sure enough, like 2 years later, she resurfaced. She shot me an email, and she's an amazing employee, amazing. Um, I, Funny story. Just a couple of weeks ago, I had a young woman who came in. She was a transfer patient from California, and man, she just had something about her that really never been into dentistry. She'd worked at a sprinkler head company. She worked at Rainbird out of California. She put together purses. She assembled shoes. She made scarves. She was in her mid 20s, but I tell you what, there was something about her. I was like, this little girl is a worker bee. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
she's always had a job since she was 18 years old, and she's and I could just sort of feel that energy, and I was like, hey, do you have a job? And she's like, no, I'm really looking for one. I
Yeah.
was like, you know what? And for us, there are places in the practice where we can introduce someone in an entry level position. Okay, in our particular practice, that's in what we call records. All right, so basically taking photographs and radiographs. All right, and we can train them on that in a very short period of time, and really get to know them. And she's been a shining star, and she's been in here 3 weeks now. And the other day, we had a little. Gosh, we had a couple of people out on vacation, a couple of people with COVID, and it turns out that she was the only person in records, and she ran that entire column by herself 3 weeks into the job. All right,
Wow.
I was just so grateful for her, and so glad that we kind of took a chance on this play. I love Tom Landry, the coach of the Dallas Cowboys, right?
Yep.
Legendary coach, and he used to always say, hire the athlete, not the position. All
Yeah.
right, that was his quote. So if you can find someone who's just got the right stuff, right, and whether that's a server at a restaurant, or whether that's you know and they're all over the place, right? But you just got to find them, and you guys basically just got to make them a better offer. Now, what does that mean? That's not always just money, Kurt. Sometimes that's job satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that's introducing them to a family that really cares about them and loves them.
Yep.
And that's what I'm proud about is the fact that we've got this amazing group of people who bring someone young like that with very little or to no experience, and can help just basically embrace them, and makes them feel special, and makes them feel like they belong. And that goes a long way. We're taking the everybody on a cruise here in a couple of months, and so I mean she just got hired, but 2 weeks, or excuse me, 2 months into her job, she's going to be going on a Caribbean cruise. Okay,
That's awesome.
I mean, so
I want to
and
work
and
for
and
you.
well, so here's and I've always said birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
So and then she might have a friend, right?
Right.
And so you ask your current team members if they've got if they know someone to hire. And that's basically how we, okay, this past week
Mhm.
had a patient who was actually from Honduras,
Okay.
and he came in. His wife came with him. Lo and behold, she used to be an orthodontic assistant. So
Wow.
we were really shorthanded, and she said, "Hey, do you want me to help?" I was like, "Heck yeah, yeah, come on over here, put on some gloves." So she helped me, put on this guy's braces, and then she did an amazing job. She knew her mesial from distal. She knew how to butter the brackets, and,
Wow.
and we just and we had fun. And so my office manager's contacting her today.
Yeah.
Okay, let's give her a shot. Let's give her. So you never know. I mean, you can find them anywhere, but they've just, like I said, it's a sparkle in their eye. It's the energy that they have. It's their willingness to learn. It's their willingness to jump in. Uh, they've got that. They've got it, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, and you can see it. Someone might be serving you ice cream, or someone might be washing your car.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's just that extra little thing that they've got.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I can't even describe the entire power of it, but they transcend like coaching. They transcend like learning about they figure things out because they have these innate values that you value so much. And I want to ask you, because you're a great teacher. You talk to a lot of other offices. You've had the Tito Norris experience, which we'll put a link down. You have people that come see what, and you talk about this. What do you see that dentists get wrong when they start to go home and do this? Where do they go wrong with it?
I think it's really tough for dentists to let go, okay, not micromanage everything in their practice, to provide training, and
Mhm.
then empower your team to do what they do best, okay,
Right.
and you can empower them a number of different ways. One of my favorite things, and I think you've probably had an entire conversation about this, and that is the empowering handoff.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I'm in a new patient examination, or if I'm in a room, I try to always say, hey, listen, I'm going to turn you over to Julie. She's amazing, and she's been doing this for 30 years. In fact, she's way better than I am. So I'm going to turn you over to her very capable hands. And you know what? She's got the power to work within your budget and make it affordable. I don't want finances to stand in the way of anybody getting the best orthodontic treatment possible. So she's got the power to work within your budget and make this happen if this is the right place for you.
Yeah, that's so awesome. That is awesome. If I were to have your team members on here and we were to do like let's reveal all on Tito, like what would they say? No practice. My team members would tell you a lot that you probably wouldn't want to hear, but like I would hope that the sum of it would be like, no, when he started following the core values, because I'll be transparent. There's nobody that violates the core values more than the person who starts the business, because and they hold you accountable. They talk to each other about it. Do you find that to be true?
Absolutely, absolutely. They hold absolutely, they hold the leaders accountable. They hold everybody. I mean, everybody holds everybody accountable, right?
Right.
And not to get in too far into a tangent, but as another part of that exercise, in addition to developing those core values, we actually developed an accountability chart. Okay,
Tell
so
me
all
now.
the
I love that.
all
Now go
okay.
deeper on that.
Well, I mean, basically, there's a lot of, okay, so what needs to happen in order for us to treat a patient, right? So we got to have some marketing stuff going on, right? You've got a new patient process that has to happen. You've got to have a physical plant that runs smoothly. You've got to have all the computers working and things like that. You've got to have clinical chairs and DTRs, right? Dental treatment rooms and stuff that work and function properly. And then, you've got to have supplies, right, show up at the right time and the right amounts, and so you got all these different elements of the practice. And so who is actually the lead on each of those elements all throughout the throughout the board, so that we've got one person to go to. Okay,
Right.
if the supply is not there, like, well, I don't know, well, she was supposed to order, well, I don't know, no, you have one person who's responsible for the supplies being here. And
Mhm.
if the supplies aren't there, well then, they basically have the power to say, listen, you guys did not notify me when we were down to the last 5 of those things. Therefore, the onus falls on you. So it's your responsibility. Ultimately, I'm going to take the heat. But I mean, it's kind of like the military, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like they're the colonel, right, of their platoon or whatever. Yeah.
Right. And that's got to be freeing for you that you only go to one person for the entire department instead of
Absolutely.
everybody, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because there's no question as to who to go to. Yeah. Yeah. And, something's broken in the office. If the sink doesn't work, I mean, we know
Right.
exactly who to go to. Yeah. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So talk to me about the difficult conversation, because everybody faces this in your career. You have this team member, maybe right seat, but not right person. And you got to have the core values conversation. Have you ever been put in that predicament? It's a tough one. I've been clinically diagnosed as a wuss, so that's a hard one for me. You know what I mean? So how do you handle those? My hope is you haven't had one recently, but like you probably have in your career. How would you suggest we handle that?
Well, so here's the thing. The main thing is having the right person, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you've got the right person, they'll basically find the right seat. Well, I'm not saying not always. Sometimes they need a little guidance and direction and so forth.
Right.
But that's the key. Is number one, getting because you mentioned right person, wrong seat in the
Right.
practice. Okay. And so if that's the case, typically they'll tend to gravitate towards like, for instance, I've been on reception. I've been doing reception for, 10 years now, and I'm just kind of burned out on that. I'd much rather move towards doing the schedule or insurance or, something like that. Or maybe they started in records and we're training them and transitioning them over into the clinic because, those are more sought after jobs. They're higher paying jobs.
Right.
They're a little higher in the hierarchy of the practice and so forth. What you can never resolve really is the wrong person, right seat.
Right.
and so those are and when we say wrong person, literally what that means is that somebody who just doesn't subscribe to the core values.
Yes.
Okay. And when you have that situation, like I said before, you have a guide, a very detailed guide, where it says, listen, this behavior was not congruent with this core value. This behavior didn't resonate with this core value. And
Right.
so, you give opportunities, you train, and if they can come up to stuff, fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
Then they become the right person.
Now go back
But
to
if they
that.
can't,
So you're calling them out on it when you see
absolutely.
those things happen. And do you do it in a regular process where you're doing like a sit down with each one of them, and then you
Have
give them
to.
a chance? You give them a chance to succeed after you've called it out?
And you've got to do it immediately because, the thing
Right.
is, oh, remember 2 weeks ago when you did that thing, that didn't work. I mean, it's got to
Right.
be, at least that day, if not that instant. Like within the hour would be the best case scenario. It's like, hey, listen, this little situation happened, and it's just not congruent with our core values. And so here's what I'm going to need you to do.
Mm-hmm. And most everybody's receptive to that. The first time you do it,
Absolutely.
it might be difficult. The second time, people are waiting for you to do it,
Well,
right?
yeah, and here's the thing, Kirk. They read the core values. They know the core values. They've signed the core values. We even have the little cards they can carry around in their wallet. So it's not a surprise. Okay,
Right.
if they go against the core values, it's because it's almost like they chose to do it. It's not like they don't. Oh, I didn't know what to do. It's because I was confused. No,
Right.
it's extremely clear.
Yeah. And going back to what you said, right person, wrong seat, I'll take anybody who fits our core values. I'll find a seat
Absolutely.
for him. We'll make a
That's
seat for him,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. Yep.
Yeah.
If
Now,
you get
oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your
no,
thought.
no, no. If you find the right person, the person that I hired from the jewelry store, he had no dental experience whatsoever,
Yeah.
and so came in as a receptionist, and she ended up being basically a treatment coordinator, new patient coordinator, which is a very prestigious. I mean, that's basically top of the pecking order
Right.
in our practice, and she basically quadrupled her salary in like a 4-year period.
Yeah. And so, Tito, let me ask you this. I'm a 32-year-old listener. I got this busy practice. I can't get anybody to answer my ads. So I'm totally picking up what you're putting down. Like, I just feel like I'm struggling. Speak to me, brother. Like, help me out of the mud. What would you tell me?
I say, number one, do you ever interact with your patients? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes your patients can, I mean, you're interacting with people, and sometimes it's a mom, sometimes it's a dad, sometimes it's, maybe it's a kid, home from college that is going to help get you through the busy summer month and do some sterilization or something like that. All right, do you ever go out to eat? Do you ever like go to the dry cleaners? Do you ever? I mean, just like if you are out in the world and living, then you're meeting and interacting with people,
Right.
and when you interact with someone who makes you feel good, bring it up. Say,
Yeah.
listen, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a dentist, and we have an amazing team, and I think you'd be a fantastic addition to the team. And but I don't have any experience. Well, it's no problem. We can train you.
Yeah.
We've got the right person. We can provide that training. But you've got that special something that we're looking for,
Yeah.
and and it's well better than minimum wage. And there's definitely a ladder of opportunity for improving not only your position, your pay, but along with that, I mean, full benefits and medical and continuing education and uniform and plus there's just a lot to be said, as I mentioned before, about being part of just something bigger
Right.
and part of a team, part of a family, that's just a warm place to come to work.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. This is our third year doing intern programs, and I highly encourage everybody to do it for a multitude of reasons. But we get these kids that are great kids coming in. Now, two things. Number one, it's fun to have them around because they figure out things we can't figure out. Number two, we make sure they're our core values. Number three, it creates a whole other layer of accountability. Like one of them is a classmate of my daughter, so like, they get to come behind the scenes here and see what's really going on. And next week is our team meeting. And my team is like, are we going to have the interns here? I'm like, absolutely. We're going to let them sit right in all these meetings and show them how the real business world works. And Laura's who is like, this isn't the real business world. Like, this is like actually going to be a great experience for them. And then also too, I mean, you think about the responsibility that you have or I have, it's growing leaders. And so who knows where these kids are going to go. My hope is that their stop here influences a little bit of the rest of their life. And what a great place that is. And so we have medals. We have each one of our core values, 6 of them in medals, and we hand them out quarterly. So I love what you do. I'm going to embrace that. But like, however you do it, you got to find a way to reward people so that you can say that they're alive, right? Can you speak to that? Like you have to prove these things are alive and well.
Absolutely. And you mentioned metal, and that's something else I just want to touch on here real quick. And this is kind of a throwback from my Air Force days. So we actually have a coin, right, that everybody carries around. And on that coin, it says excellence in all we do.
Wow.
And so, at any point, at any time, anywhere, I can ask for someone to produce that coin, right? And if they have it on their person, right, on their keychain or, in their pocket, had one employee one time, she sewed little pockets into her bra so that she could carry around her coin, but she could whip that coin out like nothing. Anyway, if you can do that, then you're going to get whatever kind of reward that we're offering. It could be
Right.
a massage. You're going to wash your car, movie tickets, dinner, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have your coin on you, then someone else, one of your teammates, can give a specific example of how you recently demonstrated excellence in all that you do. And ultimately, that's really better than carrying around a coin is carrying
Right.
around that philosophy of being excellent in everything that you do. And so they also get rewarded because that's ultimately what you're after is
Right.
just a constant reminder that we are here to produce excellence in all that we do.
Buddy, I love this. I mean, I don't think we could talk about these things enough because I've learned firsthand. It was also, I mean, it's been the most beneficial thing I've done, and it's also been the most detrimental thing I've never done. You know what I mean? So like I'm so glad that I actually listened to a coach eventually. And so I'll tell this story. I've told it before. Like I had a coach walk into my office and not everybody liked him, but he's like, listen, where are your core values? And I said, oh, I love that. They're in here. He goes, no, where are they? And I said, karate here, not here. He's like, this is what he said to me. Shut up. Like, I want them everywhere. I want them on cups. I want them on the wall. I want them. It is your flag in the ground. And he actually said this to me. We don't do anything. until those things are crystal clear, because everything we do is going to go through the lens of those. And I was like, and I'm so glad he said that. You know what I mean? So,
Amen.
buddy, any last thoughts you have on core values?
Well, a couple things. Number one, we give an in-house course here in our office. Okay, and this is for orthodontic specialists. And as part of that, it's not just like me lecturing for 2 days. It's the whole team actually coming together and giving like little TED Talks on what is it that they do, what's their secret sauce in the area of how to answer the phone, what's their secret sauce on the area of whatever, hiring and firing, and so the whole team is really involved in this process, and it's like I said, it's for orthodontists, called the Norris Experience, and that can be found at dynaflex.com. So if for any orthodontists listening, we do that twice a year, and it's a great weekend course. All right, just some other educational opportunities, if you don't mind, Kirk.
Yeah, absolutely, please.
Yeah. So I've got a channel on Clark.com, and it's got a weird spelling. It's QLARK, Clark.com, and it's orthodontic, tidbits and things like that. Once again, really more geared towards orthodontists, and it's not. Basically, it's just a lot of pearls that we're sharing, and we try to post like a weekly little pearl on what we do, and here in the practice. And then lastly, for anyone out there who does orthodontics, check out my bracket system. It's a Norris 2026 bracket system. You can find it on Dynaflex.com. Dynaflex is our distributor who sells that product for us. So it's wires and brackets. And what's unique about it is that we've made the bracket slots smaller so that it actually fits the wires that we like to use today. And so you have better control, 3D control. It's all about efficiency, right? And so if we can get excellent results in fewer appointments, that's what allows us to have a little bit better life balance. And so this all, you can see how this all fits in together here.
Yeah, I'm going to encourage you to check it all out. Now, if you're not taking notes at home, we're taking them for you. So our post producers, so if you flip up, I don't care if you're listening on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, flip up to the show notes, you're going to see links to the Norris Experience and all of those. And I'll tell you, like I've done previous podcasts with Tito, and just how you think about systems with the different colored instruments and everything. It is worth your time to check it out, because it'll save hundreds and hundreds of hours. I love the way you think in terms of systems. I mean, you and I are going to do a lot of these and just take apart a different component, but you'll be able to see all those links in there when you go to the show notes. So, brother, thanks for being on. I really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure, Kirk. Good to see you again, my friend.
Yeah, where are we going to dinner next? That's my question to you. That's my real question. And you can take a few days to figure that one out, because I will get on a plane and meet you wherever that is. So we'll have to figure out something cool. But
you got it.
Cool. Well, stick around while I say goodbye to everybody else, but thank you guys for listening to the Best Practice Show podcast. Hey, if you enjoyed today, which I know you did, just do us a favor, hit the share button, share it with your friends. Keep sending us suggestions for things that you guys want to see. You're going to see I have Tito back again and again and again. If you're wondering, like, what's a topic that you want to talk about? Send them to me. You guys send them to me all the time. They're great subjects. I'll get Tito on and we'll ask the expert, and he can tell us what he thinks about that. Because remember, your problems are really never your problems. It's how you think about your problems. So I want you to keep showing up, and we're going to improve your thinking so you can improve your practice and improve your life. So until we see you guys next time, or you hear from us next time, keep watching the Best Practices Show. You guys enjoy your day.